This is 7 National News, and in our top story, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, has declared that the war in Yemen is now over for Emirati troops after restoring legitimacy and returning to the political path. The announcement was also made on His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed's Twitter account, where he quoted the UAE's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Anwar Gargash, who had given a speech during the Ramadan Majlis, as saying that the war is over for our troops, but there were monitoring political arrangements. It was added that the UAE's resolve in both political and military realms in Yemen has surprised many, as the country gave major support to the Saudi-led coalition in what Gargash described as a difficult test. Gargash said that it was now up to the Yemeni people and factions to agree on a political solution to save their country, reiterating the UAE and GCC's support. UAE troops had been among the most active members of the Saudi-led Operation Restoring Hope. The Ramadan lecture was also attended by His Highness Sheikh Hazza bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Deputy Chairman of the Abu Dhabi Executive Council, His Highness Lieutenant General Sheikh Saif bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior. The mandatory midday break rule for UAE workers came into effect on Wednesday, banning any sort of work under direct sunlight between 12:30 and 3 p.m. until the 15th of September. The Minister of Human Resources and Emiratization was quoted in a local daily saying that the decree related to the midday break rule, which is entering into its 12th consecutive year, and is designed to prevent work-related injuries. Under the rule, all emergency works that include water supply, sewerage, electricity, gas pipelines or petroleum flow and traffic blocks are excluded from the ban. According to the ministry, working hours are divided into 2 shifts, with 8 hours of daily work, and in case of overtime, workers must be compensated as per law. The ruling also requires employers to post a clear schedule informing workers of the daily working hours, plus providing them shelter during their rest period. Employers were also urged to provide health kits to workers using hazardous tools, in addition to following safety instructions and distributing awareness leaflets to promote awareness. It was mentioned that 18 teams from the Ministry for Inspectional Affairs will monitor the level of compliance throughout the period, making a total of 60,000 visits across the nation to make sure that all facilities commit to the law. Violators will be fined 5,000 dirhams per worker, and that's running up to a maximum of 50,000 if the case involves a huge number of workers. The company will be degraded and possibly stopped from operating temporarily. Under a new draft law passed by the Federal National Council, all dog owners must buy a license for their pets and also keep them on a lead at all times when in public. According to reports, those who fail to abide by the rules could see fines of up to 500,000 dirhams and up to 6 months in jail, and also the animal will be confiscated. The penalty also applies to owners who do not vaccinate their dogs against dangerous diseases. The law is yet to be officially announced, but owners will have 6 months from the date that the law comes into effect. The law, which was discussed by the FNC on Wednesday, also bans the private ownership of wild and exotic animals, so as to help regulate the possession and trade of dangerous and semi-dangerous animals. Only zoos, wildlife parks, breeding and research centres are allowed to keep wild or exotic animals, and anyone who takes a leopard, cheetah or any other kind of exotic animal out in public will be fined between 10 and 500,000 dirhams. It was also noted that people who use an animal to threaten or intimidate others face a 700,000 dirham fine and/or jail time. And if a person is killed by an animal, its owner can face manslaughter charges and be fined up to 400,000 dirhams. The Dubai Healthcare City Authority has announced that the Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences has successfully carried out the first ever organ transplant surgery here in Dubai, in collaboration with Mediclinic City Hospital. The surgery was performed on a 29-year-old Emirati woman who had kidney failure due to diabetes. The mother of two needed to undergo 4 hours of hemodialysis 3 times a week over the last year. The kidney from a deceased donor was provided through the Saudi Centre for Organ Transplantation in Saudi Arabia, led by Dr. Faisal Shaheen, the Director General. The surgery marked the launch of the MBRU organ transplant programme, which aims to establish, through partnerships with healthcare providers, services for organ transplantation in Dubai in order to meet a growing demand in the country. Dr. Raja Isa Al-Gurg, the Vice Chairperson and Group Chief Executive Officer of the Dubai Healthcare City Authority, said that the success of the first organ transplant surgery in Dubai is the first step in this new era. She stated that they are proud of partnering with Mediclinic City Hospital, and a special thanks goes to the joint team. Officials added that this is also an excellent example of how government authorities and the private sector can work together. The Dubai police has warned the public and young students against the use of fireworks during the festive period of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr. As a part of their anti-fireworks awareness campaign, Dubai Police Department of Protective Security and Emergency held a workshop at the Indian High School. The message was clear for the 1,400 students that attended the session that fireworks are illegal for residents to use at their homes or neighbourhoods. Dubai Police is using a series of injured cartoon characters as a part of their message to hit home the dangers of playing with explosives. Officers have also warned parents that they could expect fines of up to 10,000 dirhams and possible jail terms of up to 6 months for the illegal use of fireworks. According to police, last year the authority seized 4 tons of fireworks during Ramadan and 9 tons in 2014. The third edition of the annual campaign begins on the 1st of June with the theme "Make Celebrations Playful, Not Painful," and activities to raise awareness will be taking place throughout Ramadan. Commenting on the campaign, Brigadier Abdullah Al-Gaith stated that the misuse of fireworks can cause serious lifelong injuries to their users and innocent bystanders.
The problem, nobody can, when they are sending the children to, if someone injured and they're taking the injured children to the hospital, they are not saying it's injured from firework, because, you know, in the end they are punishing them. There is a case for this, so it is very difficult for us to find who injured from firework. At least there is a number for Dubai Police. We need anyone, if they knows some shops or they knows about some people, they stores illegal firework, please let them to call police, and we are ready to help. And believe me, nobody can bring their name, or we are not showing this guy who complained or who told us about this firework.
Today, Dubai Police and along with their associate like ambulance and civil defense have done a wonderful job in educating the children. The education imparted to them today will go miles, and they will become a safe residents and citizens, not only of Dubai but of the world.
We know that this is a very safe city, Dubai, and a lot of efforts goes in making that it a safe city, and we have seen that effort. Kudos to Dubai Police, they keep us very safe in this city, and we thank them for giving this opportunity for the kids to learn about the fire safety with the crackers. That we are very grateful for them.
Dubai Police have installed 2,000 road cameras across the emirate in order to further crack down on traffic violations. Colonel Saif Muhair Al-Mazroui, the director of the Dubai Traffic Police Department, stated that the cameras will pick out drivers who speed, use the hard shoulder or jump red lights. The move is a part of the We Are All Police initiative and looks to further support Dubai Police's smart patrol, including 12 cameras that can take photos with 360-degree visuals. Al-Mazroui further stated that the authority will be watching around the clock with the new purpose-built cameras. that will work in conjunction with the radars that are already installed across Dubai. This comes as 250 road accidents were recorded on the first day of Ramadan this year, as well as 2,419 calls to the control room. It was also noted that a special technical team has been appointed to analyse the video recordings and also single out violators with screen grabs and concrete evidence in order to hold them accountable. And finally, looking to other news now, the Sheikh Mohammed Centre for Cultural Understanding hosted the Open Doors, Open Minds programme this week with the aim of improving cross-cultural understanding between locals and foreigners, while also offering a glimpse of Emirati culture. More than 40 guests and tourists attending a special programme organised by the SMCCU at the Al Fahidi historical neighbourhood in Dubai were offered lectures on Emirati customs during the holy month of Ramadan and also hosted discussions and answered questions on Emirati culture. A number of first-time visitors to the UAE who attended the programme were briefed about the do's and don'ts during the holy month, while also educating expats about the age-old UAE traditions. Representatives stated that the UAE is a unique country where the expats outnumber the local Emirati population by a huge margin. And as the country is home to families from all over the world, each with their own distinctive culture, these programs, especially during Ramadan, will greatly help in bridging the gaps that exist between cultures, while also conveying the message of unity and togetherness across the world. During the 90-minute programme, Emirati speakers briefed the expat community about various topics, including the culture of fasting during the holy month, and were also treated to authentic Emirati cuisine, the history of local dress, and etiquette of Arabic coffee in the country.
We are bridging, we are connecting people, we are getting a different way of thinking, different worlds, different communities, religions, beliefs, backgrounds to meet and get together in the center here in the last 20 years. We nearly have almost 4 million people have either visited or participated in the center's programs. So it's helping where we have a unique situation, as I said earlier. Where in the world would you have a country accepting majority of its population, expatriates and non-nationals? We are proud of it because the UAE is a success story in the region. And it's tolerant.
It's my second visit to Dubai, so the first time was in February to visit family who were working here, and this is my first experience of Ramadan, which is has been wonderful. It's been a really enlightening experience, and I think it's been interesting to come here and have some explanation around what Ramadan is and not just, I think there's a perception that it's just about not eating, and actually to hear that it's much more than that. Is really interesting.
Well, I've been here for 14 years, so in terms of Ramadan, this is my 14th now. So I know the do's and don'ts in terms of eating during the hours of daylight, eating and drinking, respectful dressing, things along that line. And yet, for people new to the city, I think this is a must-do really in terms of understanding what the expectations are of living in this country. The rules are here, it's a fabulous place to live, but you have to respect you're in a Muslim country.